The Tesla and Elon Musk news today. There's a few things going on. Jay Leno is driving around in a Cybertruck. President Trump's going to go watch the next space launch at Canaveral. And they have a cool new spacesuit. They're going to do a manned space mission. They haven't done that in like 10 years. And the Tesla car prices drop by $5,000, up to $5,000, signaling weak demand for Teslas. And we have a break here on the Tesla chart, down kind of out of this wedge. We begin in reactions across this top area here, and so this will be interesting to see over the next day or two if we backtest this wedge and drop, or if we can get up on top of this. So the bullish look would be to get back on top of this line, I suppose. And I don't really have targets for where it would go, but definitely just get up here. And for the bearish side, we have a rising wedge into a descending trend line. And so you look for a break of the wedge and a back test of the wedge. And then, well, maybe not that dramatic of a move down, but a back test. And then we have a couple levels here to look out for. There's kind of this range here, and then there's this big gap here for levels to kind of try to get to on the bearish side. If this is a big wedge reversal, this bottom point of the wedge is the main target for a wedge reversal. And then we're going to have to see what goes on. So let's look at Tesla. It looks dangerous. It's been way up, and driving up into this wedge for weeks and weeks, and it finally popped up above here. It's been getting rejected every time, and I like to put the trend lines kind of on the meat of the action and chop the peaks off. And so this is where we're getting all the action. And yeah, so rejection here, and we're getting a move back up, and we will see. We'll see if we get a back test here and what this thing looks like at close today. And if this does get a back test rejection, it could be pretty bearish. And then for the maximum bearish case, I suppose, we have this longer term trend line. Well, we have a couple of trend lines, but this is a bull market line that Tesla's been swinging across for a long time, and it came back and checked it here. And so yeah, so I guess we have a bunch of targets here for Tesla, and also this trend line as a very bottom target. So who knows? Like, that would be kind of the most bearish case, is to get all the way back down to this trend line, and then potentially back up to here. And that's the Tesla for today. And the S&P is doing some similar stuff. And then also Trump is talking about shutting down social media. So there's a little negative buzz on some of the tech stocks today, because Trump was upset at Twitter today. And yeah, we could take a look at Twitter real quick. I don't know what they're doing now. Oh yeah, Twitter started with a down candle, and it's had a little rebound. Um, so yeah, we'll see if this is just some negative buzz for today. But the Tesla share price is not just a negative buzz thing. That's a lower demand thing to take into consideration. And the S&P, what is the S&P doing now? Oh yeah, so I had a little wedge drawn in here for the S&P, and we had a nasty opening today on the S&P. And so this is our moving average line. This is a 130-day moving average. I like to do the 130 because it gets a lot of reactions, including our bounces here got really close to it, and then we broke it here. And so this is sort of the bull and bear market dividing line. And so if the bulls can get on top of this thing and stay up here, that would be an indication that we're switching into a longer term bull market. And if the bears can keep it down here, that's an indication that we are in a longer term bear market. So this is a really critical zone here. And bear markets don't usually make it all the way up to this moving average area, but it's a big rejection point when it does get up there. And yeah, so same kind of thing. The bull targets, I don't really have targets other than just like get up here and stay away from that line. Probably around somewhere around here, you know, 3100 or somewhere up here. If the bulls can get north of 3100, that would be very bullish. And then for the bears, I don't know. I was trying to draw trend lines and I had my circle trend, but this wave up is well outside of my circle here, and so I don't really have very good bear targets either at the moment. Other than I guess the downside target on this wedge would just be the yellow line again, just the bottom edge of the wedge, which is at 29 whatever 29.20. So kind of here for a bear target, and then who knows? Who knows? We've been getting these swings, so um, I mean, for like a big bearish Elliott wave, we have this kind of thing, and then you'd want another bearish wave down, kind of on the big scale for the bears. But I'm sure it would have some unique shape to it, like we got on this whole thing. But I don't know, I'll have to take a look at this thing and try to figure out what's happening here. A very dramatic move up here to this resistance area, and now the bulls and the bears don't know what's going on. If this is even a bear market or a bull market, the whole fundamentals are crazy. Oh, and I did hear one argument for a bull market that makes sense, and that is in the macroeconomics. Brent Johnson was talking about how other countries, in order to pay their U.S. dollar loans, are going to have to print extra money, and that will drive those countries' stock markets down, and then that would make people in those countries want to buy American assets instead of their own if they're inflating. But you can have a look at the DXY, I guess. Let's see. So the DXY should be trending up if the other countries are inflating more. And the DXY is heavily weighted on the euro. Um, But that's one thing to kind of look at to see who's printing more. Is the U.S. printing more? It'll go down, or the other countries printing more? It'll go up. And just try to keep track of who's printing what. And and then I heard that the negative interest rates are not factored in at this point. There is negative interest rates for the U.S. factored in, uh, and right now it's staying around zero or something like that. It's not looking to dive negative today. So that's positive for financials. I think financials popped up a little bit. And but I mean, in England and Europe, the interest rates are negative, going more negative. Oh yeah, the XLF kind of popped up pretty good here, and so that might have something to do with the interest rate news. And we have a lot of these low stocks. There's a lot of stocks like the hotels and the cruise lines and the airplanes and stuff that kind of had this low kind of dead bounce. And XLF bounced a little bit higher than some of the other stuff. But a lot of these stocks are kind of at this area, seeing if it can get above kind of this resistance area. And then the moving averages are way above all these stocks that are down here. And so it's kind of yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like the energy and travel and commercial real estate and everything is way down here, and the S&P is all crazy in the middle, and then we have some industrial stuff and Tesla up high. And so today we have the financials that were low going up, and we have Tesla coming down, and that's an interesting look. And then gold, let's take a look at gold. And then again, GLD, I never actually buy GLD um, because the custodian is HSBC, which is one of these international banks that is bordering on insolvent and just political risk. It's a Hong Kong, it's an English bank in Hong Kong that has contracts on the Bank of England gold. But I mean, Hong Kong is having, uh, I guess you'd call them riots. I mean, China basically said that they want to take Hong Kong back, and they made a rule that any kind of democracy activity is now illegal, and they're going to be arresting people. And they've kind of stepped up their game from flashbangs to tear gas and water hoses. So they have like the SWAT team kind of police running through Hong Kong, arresting people and tear gassing people right now and telling them that democracy is not legal anymore. And then Trump said he was disappointed about that. And there's a whole mess of American warships all in the South China Sea. And so there's a bunch of drama with China right now. And China does not have a US dollar swap line, so that's not friendly. Um, yeah, there's big news with China, I guess, in Hong Kong. Um, but the financials are bouncing in spite of Hong Kong kind of being being sort of taken, I mean, or challenged. And so this is interesting that gold is coming down here, and it's just kind of been sideways for a while. And silver, so silver did this parabolic hop, and it's just kind of sideways, a little bit up today. Yeah, I don't know what to think about silver. I mean, silver would do well in like a high inflation environment, and maybe the interest rates not going negative is good for silver. I don't know what to think about silver. It seems like it's up, and I'm a little scared of it right now. It just seems kind of out of place with this jump, and not sure what to think about silver right now. Um, so yeah, that's a look at a bunch of stuff. I think Bitcoin's just kind of hanging out around its top trend line. So Bitcoin has a long one. I mean, Bitcoin has this kind of trend line down from the huge Bitcoin bubble and this uptrend here. And it's been getting rejected every time it gets above this trend line, and it's above it right now. But it seems to be hanging out. So we'll see if Bitcoin can hang out up there. I mean, the halving, all the big news, the halvening, um, supposed to be bullish for Bitcoin, but it has not gone super bullish. I mean, this down move was after the halvening, and now it's just kind of wobbling around. So it'll be really interesting to see what Bitcoin does as well, and see if there's any kind of bearish follow through on this bounce on the S&P kind of rejection out of this. Whoa, out of the big average here. So I guess yeah, on the dailies, let me flip through the what video is this, Tesla? So we're up here in bull territory, and this is trying to pull farther into bull territory on the dailies. That's really bullish looking. And so that's kind of the month to month look. And then on the 4 hour kind of week outlook, it's up in bull territory, but it may be turning down. It looks like it's turning down. It's turning down. Looks like it's diverging hard down. Yeah, that's pulling pretty hard. So, I mean, that looks like it wants to move down right now, all the way. And then, okay, so it's kind of stalling on the downward movement at the moment, but this is a big divergence, so that looks like it still wants to move down. But maybe not for the next 45 minutes or so, or the next hour. And it's coming back up right now. And so maybe starting to chill out around neutral here. This is getting a little, and maybe stalling out and maybe going up. So it looks like it's still trying to come up right now over the next maybe hour or something. But it's a big bearish move. Obviously, it's a big down move. And yeah, so I guess on the wedge, I think I already took a look at the wedge. Similar kind of thing to Tesla. There's an ascending wedge here, and it breaks, and it broke past this this kind of wedge support here. So it looks like a wedge break to me, and so you kind of get a break and a back test, and then the target is just here on the bottom edge of the wedge at 29.22 or something. So I would be looking kind of to there as a target and try to figure out. And if we get down to here, that would be, well, I think we have to get lower than that to really talk about a bear market again, because we got all the way up here, and we have to kind of fish around and see where we are, because it's a little bit tricky here. But let's look at all the things for right now. This is not investment advice, and then subscribe button is over here somewhere, and yeah, playlists, financial education playlist gets a lot of views. And Tesla, I don't really have a playlist that's relative to Tesla. But Tesla's a good one to look at. It's a really interesting one that's been just kind of flying high when a lot of things have been low. And so we get a kind of a breakdown on the S&P and a breakdown on Tesla today. And then we get a pop-up on financials. And so things are pretty interesting now. We'll have to see what we get here. And this is not investment advice, and happy trading.